Happy Mother's Day. It is Sunday, May 12th, 2019, and I figure it's time, since it's actually kind of a cloudy and coolish day out, to take a quick walk through of the garden that I've got going on thus far, and maybe talk about some of the changes that are going to be made to it, which are probably not as numerous as I'm thinking in my head right now, but a couple things need to be moved around. So let's take a look. Alright, we're going to start at the far end and work our way across. This is an overwintered Bishop's Crown. No, goodness gracious, start over. This is an overwintered Bolivian rainbow that's already starting to put out some nice purple blooms. Looking pretty good. It has shed all of its purple leaves for the most part. You can see a couple down here show a tinge of it still, but it's now into the green. And, yep, looking pretty good. This is a new one. Well, it's a potentially new one. It's called the... Oh, God, I almost fell. It's called the Mad Hatter, but the way it grows, it's a Capsicum bacatum for sure. I think it might be just a Bishop's Crown, and the fact that it's growing like a freaking weed leads me to believe the same. That's just a regular orange habanero, already putting out some blooms. I may snip those off just so it grows a little bit more, but I could just leave it, heck with it. Those two right there are Tabascos. I've got two more Tabascos that I'm thinking of growing in smaller pots. I have no reason not to. I need to put them in something soon, though. Right here we have a Bahamian Beast Peach. This is, it says F3. This is the third generation of them. We want to get them as close to the F7, I believe, as possible. That would be the ones that are like 99.9% going to be true to form every year. Trinidad Moruga Scorpion, grown from seeds that I grew from the Scorpion last year. Not 100% on how this one's going to do. Last year it struggled a bit, but maybe we'll do better this time. Another new one to the bunch, the Ahi Charapita. I know it says, looks like it says Charadita, but that's actually supposed to be a P. This one I'm really excited about. I'll have more information when I come to the sampling portion of it, because I'm really looking forward to talking about this one. We've got not one, but two Bahamian goats. They are supposedly very flavorful, and I don't believe they're ridiculously hot, so maybe they'll just be good additions to the hot sauce for just the purposes of the flavor profile. We shall see. We have 4 Thai hots, but only 2 of them are planted in large enough containers to really grow. The other 2 I'm contemplating what to do with. They turned out really well last year, so I might put them in those smaller pots over there. I got a few extras, and just let them go. These are hung jiaos that are not doing great because they're still in tiny pots. And this one right here at my foot is an unidentified pepper that was just growing wild. I'm going to let it grow and see what happens. I'm not going to put much care into it. These 2 little guys are volunteer. Actually, I believe it's 3. Yeah, so these 3 little guys here are volunteer catnip plants that have some of the biggest and healthiest leaves I've ever seen, and I'm just letting them grow for little Nikolai, since he tends to really enjoy these. These are plants that I need to separate. The Tabasco in the back there, I might just not bother. I'll just snip one off and let the other one grow tiny, and use it to isolate so I can save seeds more easily with a tiny plant. The other ones are 7-pot whites crossed with big yellow mamas. Not sure what kind of pod we're going to get off of those, but they do need to be separated soon. They're getting to the size where they're probably going to be really too bunched up to do much with. Probably going to snip the smallest one in the back and just keep the other 2. Got to find a place for these things. That's the biggest problem right now we're having. We have 6 ahi pineapples that are growing very well. They were super behind. Actually, most of what I had was super behind because of aphids in the house, but luckily, I'm pretty sure everything is doing fine now. You see, this one right here is the smallest of the bunch, but it should bounce back. I just need to get them into a little bit better soil. This one over here is doing really well, as are these 2. Sorry, I'm looking over the camera and not at what's on the camera, but they should be okay. Got a little oregano of the Italian sort. You can ignore the sticker there that says thyme. It is not thyme, that is basil. That is, this plant is a little over a year old now, so it looks a little bit straggly, but all of these dark green leaves here, over here, those have all grown within the last week. So this is very much still a healthy plant. I'm gonna fertilize a little bit more. Hopefully it'll bush out more as the season continues. These two that are looking like they're ready to be repotted are Devil's Tongue Yellows. Probably only going to actually be repotting this one. This one is stunted, but hey, look what we got walking right there. That's a little baby ladybug larva. Sweet. Where were you a couple of months ago when I had all those damn aphids? But I might use this planter for another Ahi Charapita. I still got a couple of like I said, this is one of those things that I still have yet to determine. So, anywho, let's continue. We'll start here and work our way back. 7-pot yellows right here. I'm sorry, 7-pot Primo yellows. The 7-pot Primo are the ones that a lot of people think the Reapers are derived from. So, apparently absurdly hot. I don't know if the yellows are going to compare very well, but sorry, gotta move this out of the way right quick. But we'll see. They seem to be growing pretty well. They've been in the ground for about a week and they've already almost tripled in size. We'll go up the left-hand side here. 2 Bleeding Borg 9s. No idea much about these other than the fact that they're super hot, and looking forward to that. Meko Koku. I believe these are from Ghana. I could be wrong. I'll have to do a little more research when time comes, but the closer one here, doing extremely well. This one's a little bit behind, but wait, hang on. There we go. This one's a little bit behind, but you see those yellowed leaves at the bottom? Those are the originals. All the ones above it around here, those are all fresh leaves, and they look pretty good. Hangzhou, number 9, the space peppers, both of those, and they are branching out a lot better than the ones in the smaller containers. I think they're going to be just fine. This is a Bishop's Crown that I'm growing from seed. This is from the seeds that I had last year. I do want to continue to grow this seed as much as possible because they're kind of unique, and I don't know if they're different than the Mad Hatters. The Mad Hatters were labeled a hot pepper, but these have always been pretty much heatless and just sweet. Great flavor. I'm going to step over here to the left. We see a very full... This is a Thai basil. God, it smells so good. All you have to do is touch the plant and it just smells amazing. It's in dire need of trimming, so I'll probably handle that within the next few days. I don't know where I'm going to end up putting it, but that's what it looks like now. That one's over a year old. Everything's a little bunched up over here, but the large black container here and the large container over there are both standard red Butjalokias, good old everyday ghost peppers. Here we have the, this is a peach ghost, nice and tall. And this little plant right here growing up, I'm just leaving it. It's another catnip plant. They don't really suck too much out of the soil. I can prove that by, if we just look up here, all those little ones growing. I haven't fertilized this soil once and it's on its 3rd year. And this soil has been washed out constantly. So I'm fairly certain that that catnip is not going to really take much out of this plant. The one on the left over here is an overwintered ahi pine. Yeah, for the record, that one, and this one are all overwintered. Down here we've got a Reaper. That's the ahi pineapple. Those down there in the cups, all 3 of them are the ahi charapitas. This one will be the one that I transplant. These other 2 I'll just leave and see what happens with them. I only really need 2 of them because they seem to be super prolific. Right here we've got, in the same container as last year, chocolate Butlas. They're struggling with bugs, but they're still putting out lots of really large leaves, and I have reconstituted this soil a lot better than I did last year. So hopefully it'll continue to grow better than it did last year. This structure works out really well for them. As we see, I've got them clipped at the top, and this is really solid. I know it looks wobbly, but I got to put some force on it to get it to move. We have 2 ahi chumbo. These are both planted on the exact same day, and the one on the left is just branching out a lot better than the one on the right, but I'm pretty sure the one on the right will be just fine. Same exact soil, nothing's different between the 2. We've got the standard, got to grow a tomato every year. I decided this year I was going to go with super sweets, just to grow a bunch of little ones there. Fatale White, all of these right here, these down here and both of these. This one's going to go into a plant. I'm going to end up giving this one away. I've got someone who wants it already. White Ghosts, that is what this one, I believe, yes, and this one. Yeah, okay, I'm sorry, it's kind of hard to do, to look above and at the camera at the same time. So these are both White Ghosts. They have gone up in size a lot, and there's a lot of dirt splattered all over these buckets. We had a hard rain yesterday, and the big old fat drops were coming down and just splashing dirt all over the place, but it'll rinse out and they'll still look pretty good here soon. Two Scotch bonnets, but it's going to be one pretty soon. This one's been in the soil for almost 3 weeks now, and it's not grown at all, so I'm about ready to give up on it. Maybe take out some of that soil and put in some better stuff, and go from there. Switch it out for a different one. I don't need more than one Scotch bonnet. They're basically like habaneros at that point. And last but not least, the Reapers from last year. I left them inside over the winter, and contrary to the fact that they are Reapers and generally the slowest to produce, look at all the buds. It is like this all over the plant. Top to bottom, they are everywhere. All through the middle. So, looking for another prolific year of the hottest pepper in the world. And yeah, that's pretty much what we've got going on. The ahi pineapples that we had over there are going to be transplanted up front eventually, and one of them is going to Dad's, but that's what we're looking at. Just a quick glancing overview. It's a little smaller than last year, not quite as much going on, but that's okay. We'll still get a pretty good yield out of this, I hope, all things considered. So yeah, that's what my little garden has to offer. I hope you enjoyed the walkthrough. A couple of the things I was talking about changing. The mistakes that I made last year, where this chair is over here, this is where I had a 7-pot yellow that grew huge and green and looked fantastic, but didn't put out a bloom at all, because that big old tree right there was blocking too much sun. So I'm not putting anything there this year. And I just noticed something, so I'm going to scoot this over here. That's actually not 2 but 3 frogs. There's one in the back over there too. If you can get all 3 in camera. There you go. 3 of our buddies there, just hanging out. Yeah, I try and keep the light on for them. That way I don't have to worry about changing it or turning it on at night, and it attracts plenty of food for them to eat. But yeah, a couple more little pots over here I'm probably going to fill with some dirt that I've got, and plant some of these smaller ones into it just to have something in them. A couple of pots over here. None of my overwintered plants survived. None of my older overwintered plants survived. Only the ones that I had last year. So I have yet to make a plant survive 2 successful years. And hopefully, if I do it correctly again, I'll be able to change my luck with the Reaper. We'll see. Time will tell. Is there anything else I wanted to add? No, I don't think so. That little ladybug is still in that same pot, just walking around in different spots. I don't know what he's looking for. Maybe aphids, hopefully. God, I hope he just eats them all. But yeah, that's what we're looking at. It's been a very slow start. Aphids have been a huge problem, but I think we're past the stage where they're going to be scary. We're just going to be taking it from here. Hopefully just nothing but green growth and decent weather. I'll take as much rain as comes to us. The soil I reconstituted with half of what was left from last year, which probably still had plenty of fertilizer in it, and half compost that I made myself from last year. All fresh compost with worm castings in it, that because when I was scooping it into the trash can, I noticed that I was putting huge earthworms, like 6 and 7 inch earthworms in there, and so far it seems to be working quite well. But yeah, I'm hoping for another successful season. Only a few more things need to be planted, but I have overeaten at lunch today, and I am going to be taking it easy for the rest of today. Maybe tomorrow I'll get everything finished up, and there will be some pictures to come if you're on my Facebook. If you're just on my YouTube, then enjoy this video. There will be more to come in the near future, and I look forward to bringing them to you. Take care of yourselves, and once again, happy Mother's Day.